Davenport, Florida, has a rich history that traces its roots back to the 19th century, shaped by military outposts, railroad expansion, and the resilience of its early settlers. The area's story begins in 1838 during the Second Seminole War, when the U.S. military established Fort Davenport about 12 miles north of the present-day city. Named after Colonel William Davenport, the local commander, the fort was part of a network of outposts built at 20-mile intervals along a trail from Fort Brooke, Tampa, to Fort Mellon, Sanford. It served as a temporary stronghold but was abandoned after a few years, leaving little physical trace. Despite claims that the city might have been named after a railroad conductor, no documentary evidence supports this, and the connection to Colonel Davenport remains the most accepted origin. The modern settlement of Davenport emerged later, initially called Horse Creek after a creek noted in an 1849 U.S. Army survey, which flows into Snell Creek and eventually the Kissimmee River system. In 1884, a post office was established at Horse Creek, with early settler Sally Jacob serving as its first postmaster. She operated it from a South Florida Railroad boxcar, reflecting the area's growing ties to rail transport. By 1886, the post office's name changed to Davenport, honoring the earlier fort, at Sally's request. The South Florida Railroad, extended to the area in the 1880s, was pivotal in sparking growth, bringing settlers and goods. The railroad's arrival culminated on January 23, 1884, with the final spike driven, cementing Davenport's place on the map. The town faced early challenges. In 1900, a fire sparked by a wood-burning train destroyed the original Horse Creek settlement. Undeterred, residents rebuilt about a mile south, near what's now downtown Davenport. The post office relocated, and by 1912, a wooden post office was constructed beside a small lake, then called Park Lake, now Lake Play. On March 11, 1915, Davenport incorporated as a town, with 26 registered voters attending the first meeting, led by Judge H.C. Sands. E. Hutchinson was elected the first mayor, and the town seal, costing $3.30, funded by the council, was adopted. The state granted Davenport its first town charter in 1925. Railroads remained central to Davenport's identity. The South Florida Railroad, acquired by the plant system in 1893 and later the Atlantic Coast Line Railroad in 1902, built a station half a mile north of the current city site. In 1926, a new downtown station replaced it, operating until the 1970s. Another station, the Vertigreen Railroad Station, served from 1958 to 1986 solely for fertilizer transport. Today, the old ACL line is part of the CSX Carter subdivision, with freight and passenger trains still passing through, though stations are long gone. Davenport's economy grew with the citrus industry and naval stores, turpentine and pine products, attracting diverse settlers, including African American workers in the early 20th century. By 1920, the population reached 140, enjoying modern amenities like electricity and telephones. The town became a city in 1985, adopting a city manager system alongside its mayor. Its population has since surged, from 2,888 in 2010 to 9,043 in 2020, driven by its proximity to Orlando's theme parks. Culturally, Davenport hosted events like May Day festivals and Christmas in the park, fostering a small-town charm. It's home to historical treasures, like the restored 1927 red brick schoolhouse, and boasts a Medal of Honor recipient, Sergeant James Hendricks. The area once featured Circus World, an amusement park that became Boardwalk and Baseball in 1987, hosting the Kansas City Royals spring training until 2003. After its closure in 1990 and demolition in 2005, the site transformed into Posner Park, a major shopping hub. Nestled in Polk County within the Central Florida Highlands, Davenport blends flatlands and rolling hills in a humid subtropical climate. Its location near Interstate 4 and U.S. Highways 1792 and 27 ties it to Orlando and beyond, balancing its quiet roots with modern growth. From a military outpost to a thriving city, Davenport's history reflects adaptation and perseverance.